everyone. Welcome to the day 9 of the DHS2 Analytics Source Academy, organized by HISP Sri Lanka in collaboration with University of Oslo. So today also we have a few interesting topics. The first is we'll be discussing something different. So we'll have a lot of interactions in the first half of the day because we'll be discussing about data to action framework, which of course will be interaction between you and me individually as well as in groups towards the latter part of the first session. And followed by that, we will be having a session on DHIS2 dashboard. Of course, the DHIS2 dashboards will have an exercise which will be graded. This, in fact, will be our final graded group exercise for this academy. All right. So before moving on to today's content, do we have any? Because we had a session yesterday which was on scorecard, and I believe, and looking at also the feedback, that some of you may have some questions about how to use it or maybe how to configure it. So Priyanka is here. Good morning, Priyanka. So if we have any questions, I think Priyanka will be able to clarify them regarding scorecard. So we will discuss a bit about scorecard for next few minutes. If you have any queries, till others join.
Dr. Pramod, I think drilling down is the most issue for the most of our group members, including me. Drilling down the data from the scorecard.
Right, drilling down. Okay. Yeah. So I guess Priyanka, they have a question about how to drill down, and maybe the entire drilling down part is not clear. Or what? So I mean, what exactly?
Actually, I have some idea, but I think it's better to explain it.
Explain it. Okay. All right. Priyanka?
Yes, I think you can hear me. Yeah, Deepal, in scorecard, drilling down is actually very simple. Very simple. Let me open up a scorecard. Please please give me a couple of minutes. So let me share my screen here. Okay, fine. Here we have the scorecard app, and here we have So this is a scorecard created by some of you. So I think you are with me. So drilling down. So drilling down, you can do actually in org unit dimension. So here you can see rows, the training land, animal region, and food district. So you can go to a org unit and just click on that. Very simple, very simple. Just click on that. Then all the child org units under that specific org unit we clicked on will be shown under that specific org unit we clicked. So that's it. So earlier, so I will repeat it again. So at the so initially I have only the regions. My org units are set to visualize the regions. I have two regions only, animal region and food region. So I will go and click on this animal region or rather food region. Then all the child org unit, that means the child org units for food region will be all districts in it. So all the districts will be shown under food region. So these are the child org unit. So very simple. If you click here in desert district, then all the child org unit, that's the health facilities under desert district will be shown. So that is drilling down, very easy, very simple, and not very complicated. So Deepal, did I answer your question?
Yeah, there is. What about the that column area? Is there any way to drilling down further? that ANC visit coverage or API.
Yeah, column area. What do you mean by column area here? So let me close this.
Regarding data element,
Okay.
Related
Yeah.
to that, Priyanka, can
Yeah.
you show us on how to change the org units into columns, the rows into columns? There was one question, but our group posed that question yesterday on Slack.
Of course, yes. Let me open a bit complex scorecard for that. So there was one RMNCA. So league table. That should be fine. Okay, right. Now, so I have some org units on my rows and indicators in my columns. So what you need to do is to change columns and rows, isn't it? Are you with me?
Yes, Priyanka, yes.
Yeah, yes. So it is very simple. Again, very simple. What you have to do is just go to these org units, that is columns, click, drag and drop these rows to the columns. Then it will automatically adjust now my columns are filled with org units and my uh, rows are filled with the indicators earlier were in columns. So is that okay? Is that the question you ask?
Yes, thank you.
Then and please notice here, once you move your indicators to rows, the indicator group is lost. So let me reverse the procedure. So here you have these indicator groups, availability indicator group, 4 indicators under that group. In coverage group, we have 2 indicators likewise, but that indicator group cannot show once you change your columns and rows. So here only the indicators are shown. So if somebody is just thinking of, can we uh, uh, drill down, or rather it may not be the correct word, the indicators, of course you cannot drill down indicators, but there's a method you can define related indicators to an indicator. So here in this specific example, I don't get any related indicator. So let me, yeah. If I have related indicator, can somebody tell me how you know that there are related indicators to a specific indicator? So just for an example, so there's access to ANC services. So you can define some related indicators which have some relationship to this specific indicator. So that means now when you are assessing this access to ANC services indicator, so there are some contributory things you have to consider. So those contributory indicators you can group into this as related indicators. Can somebody tell me how you can how you know that this access to ANC services have related indicators? Of course, here it doesn't have, but if it has, so then how you know? Can somebody tell me?
One method, we can go to the edit and see the related indicators.
Yes, but if you are not given the authority to edit, so see,
Then you will, Priyanka, you will see a kind of bar chart over that indicator, which shows.
Of course, yes.
You can do a bottleneck analysis.
That's right. In this area, right upper corner here, you will get a sort of a bar chart like symbol. So that symbol, once you move on that symbol, it will say that this has some related indicators, and you can explore those. Then by clicking on that, you can explore. Here it won't allow. because I don't have related indicators. If I have related indicators, so I can sort of, it is not actually a drill down, but it's like a related analysis. So that is the everything about drilling down. So uh, so the other thing is in terms of period. In terms of period, you can drill down or else you can explore. The thing is, but it is the functionality is little limited. Now, please note that now here, this is for 2018. This is for 2018. Now, so I have populated my scorecard for data in 2018. But if I want to populate this for, so like uh, by shortcuts, I can uh, change my period dimension by right clicking on this cell for relative periods, last 3 months, last 6 months, last 12 months, last 4 quarter, and last 5 years. But I cannot like change this 2018 to 19, 18 to 17 very easily. For that, it is easy, not very difficult. To change that, you have to do it from here. So to apart from 2018, you can select 2017, sorry, and update. Then it will populate with 2017 data. So that is one way. And if you want to populate this with 2017 quarter one data, so again same manner. And here also you get this relative periods. And just by right clicking on any cell, you can do this trend analysis. So, but it is a related and relative period analysis. It is a relative period analysis. So you cannot see any data by selecting 3 months because we don't have data in this instance for year 2020. So it will be blank like this. Okay, I think I answered your question.
Another question, maybe Pranga.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
One other question I have is the decreasing and increasing trend arrows in the scorecard.
Yeah.
How does that appear? Is there any rule in that for the arrows to appear? Should the difference be significant and significant? And if so, how much significant?
Yeah. So actually, that you have to define. Now you have to decide first. So what percentage increase or decrease you are considering as significant. So after deciding that, you can say, let me go to the editing mode. Okay, here, what happened? Close. Right. Let me RMNC league table, editing mode. So let me go to another table or another scorecard. Anuradha's one. Okay, that's fine. Right. Going to the editing mode. Right here. Now you are selecting one indicator here. For an example, shall we take this one? Initial utilization BCG. So this is the indicator I have selected. Now go down here. There's a space effective gap. Now here it is selected as effective gap 5. It means, so if there is 5% increase or decrease related to the previous period. What is the previous period? The previous period is the same type of previous period. That means if I have selected, say, a year 2018, previous period is 2017. If I have selected like 2018 second quarter, previous period is 2018 first quarter. If I have selected like 2020 January, the previous period will be 2019 December. So likewise, previous period will be the previous period of same type. So if you are defining this like 1, so that means you are considering a 1% of increase or decrease from the previous period as significant. So that is, you have to decide. You can increase or decrease. Also, you can range it from 1 to 100. So just keep at 1%. And shall we save this? So this is the initial utilization BCG. I save this. Okay. Now, no data for that. So let me use some data which is available. RP's PCV3 coverage. Okay. Right. PCV3 coverage. Right. So I'm going to make this, to 1. Most probably there should be 1% of change. I don't know. Let's see. Right, save. Right here. Now there's a 1%. So there's an increase, significant increase. So just go and wait here. It shows RMNCH PCV3 coverage has raised by 2.40% from undefined for training land minimum gap 1. So I set minimum gap to 1. So this is 2.4. Just let me set this something more than 2.4 here. Say 3. It is not scientific. So 5. So in that way I am telling. So I am considering significant only if there is a 5% significant decrease or increase in that specific indicator. Right? I'm saving that. Now see, now there is no significant increase or decrease. So got it?
Thank you so much.
Okay, welcome. Hope you understood.
Thank you. It's very clear. We didn't get that yesterday.
Okay, thank you very much. So anything else? Oh, Pramod, as time goes, so how about our participants today? Do we have everybody joined?
That's fine. We'll have to proceed because we have a lot of areas to cover, including the data reaction framework, proof work, and then, of course, Varun is also here. So Varun has a lot to cover about the dashboards, right? So I have a question here now for all of you. Now, you have seen a lot of DHIS2 core apps, right? Core analytic apps, and also few of the supplementary apps. So in case whatever your analytic requirements are still not fulfilled by these core apps and the supplementary apps, what would you do? Is my question clear? In case now we'll be covering just one more. So mainly the dashboard we'll be covering today and the interpretations. So after doing that also, right, with all the core analytic apps and the supplementary apps, still your analytic requirements are not fulfilled. But what are the options you have?
We can export data to other statistical package and analyze it.
Yeah, exactly. So that is one option. Thank you, Deepal, for that. So you can, of course, export the raw data from DHIS2 into another statistical apps. Yeah. So how would you actually export it? How would you export?
For example, for event or tracker programs, there is an app which can export the data individual records into a table in Excel. So you download that Excel and then bring that to the whatever statistical package you have and import it to that package.
Yeah. What about aggregate?
Because I am currently using it an event program, I can only explain that.
I think the same app supports aggregate data export as well, because aggregate is much easier. Even like what you can do is simply you make a pivot table of your choice, and you can just get that data out from DHIS2 as an Excel or CSV. Right. So that's one option. What are the other options you have? I mean, Deepal, of course, started with some somewhat say middle level thing that you can do. What would be another basic thing? Like if you would like to have something and if it is not there?
Maybe I'm not quite sure, but there is a way to develop a web app which can be integrated into DHIS2, which is a very maybe it's not easy, but that's possible, I think.
Yeah. So again, another higher level uh, way of achieving our goal you mentioned. Yeah, exactly. I will come to that a bit later. But yeah, what would be a simpler thing that you can do if your required feature is not there, not supported yet? Okay, what you can do is there is DHS2 community. You can just go there and say, like, you have to explain what your scenario and the use case is, right? You can't just ask, I would like to have, I mean, I don't want my pivot table to be having a white background. I want just a black background, something like that, right? A scenario, I mean, like why exactly you need it. So that way you can request this feature, and like if you have a lot of other people who are supporting the same feature as a requirement, then the core team might consider to have it maybe like prioritized in their milestones, right? That is something that you can do as a simple method, which actually you should do because all other methods that some of which you have mentioned are kind of like they have their own limitations. So that's what you can do. And of course, as Deepal mentioned, you can always export data and import it to another statistical application. That is one. Yes, as Derek mentioned, yes, you can do development of web apps. So basically, what you are seeing here, the scorecard or else the WHO data quality app are also DHS2 web apps. So designing DHS2 web apps is, I think, far too complicated for you all looking at your background and your job descriptions and whatever the work that you are doing. But there are software developers who can easily learn the DHIS2 web application platform, and maybe like they can just design something very similar to a scorecard, totally customized to your requirements. But then again, one issue with that is that now if you design a web application, you may have to sustain the development for next few years, because like there may be version changes and there may be little tweaks that you have to do to the design web application if you are going down that path. And also, one more thing you can do, a little addition to what Deepal mentioned, is that um, you can, of course, export data, but like you can use a DHIS2 web application to directly, integrate data and pull data out of DHIS2 with proper authorization. So I mentioned few. The first thing is you can simply request for a feature, right? And second, as Deepal mentioned, you can export. There are two ways. Like one, as Deepal mentioned, CSV or XML. And then the second one would be real-time pulling data out of DHIS2 using a web API. And as Derek mentioned, we can go for another one, which is, of course, development of a web application. So I'm seeing a question hand raised from Purwan. What is it?
Yeah, thanks, Paman. I just had a question on sort of that intermediate to advanced level of pulling data using APIs. Is this something that can be configured through the front end interface to get a user access to maybe the back end so that you can integrate directly with something like Power BI or Tableau?
Yes, exactly. So there is no major configuration to pull data out of Web API, because the Web API access is defined by your user role and user access, right? So supposing you have access to few programs and or is a aggregate data set, and that access may be limited to Weave only, or you can enter data, right? So the same access is defined to the user that you are using to pull data out through the web API. So basically, web API, what it means is it's a backend access to the DHIS2 as opposed to the usual front-end access that you are having by logging in as a user, right? When you log in as a normal DHIS2 user using the DHIS2 front-end, you'll be seeing nice interfaces of pivot table and stuff like that. But similarly, if you use a web API, you will get the access to the same, the data set and program level access, but without any user interface. So there is no major configuration. It's just that you need to have proper credentials to access that data. But how to do that is a separate, scope of discussion, which I'm not going to do here. But there's enough documentation, and there are even some academies. If any developers are interested, there's a DHIS2 Web Development Academy that also, recently one was concluded, but there'll be a lot more in time